you are listening to a #InspiredLearn podcast with Isaac /
Ursula.
and Ava.
Today we are joined by George Sharp. Hello, George.
Hi everyone.
George is an award-winning multimedia journalist who currently works for Greatest Hits UK.
Today we're going to be talking with George about neurodiversity. Isaac has our first question. George, what does neurodiversity mean to you?
Neurodiversity. It means a lot of things to a lot of people, I think. But to me, it means it means that everyone is accepted for the way that they think, and that not everyone has to think all of the same things all of the time. So I might hear someone say something and I might have a strong emotional reaction. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
I might have a strong emotional reaction to that, and it might not be completely rational or good, but it doesn't mean that.
What does rational mean?
Well thought through. Does that?
Yeah.
That makes sense to everyone.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I can be quick to react, and when someone says something that they're not meaning to be bad, I might go, "Oh, I'm really upset with you about that," and then
later.
They'll say, "Oh, I didn't mean it that way," and I go, "Oh, I didn't realise you didn't mean it that way."
Yeah.
And I think if we can all accept that sometimes people are like that, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Are there advantages to being neurodiverse?
Of course there are. I have loads of advantages.
I'm going to ask George to answer on this occasion, though, okay? So we asked George that question, are there advantages to being neurodiverse?
That's a really hard question, actually, and a lot of people feel very differently about it. I tend to think that there are some good advantages to it, but I think a lot of people who have the same conditions as me, who have ADHD, think, well, they find it difficult to see those advantages because, for me, I think it's part of my personality, and I like the fact that I think of new things all the time, and I can suggest to people, oh hey, why don't we go to the beach today? When no one's thought about that. But to other people, they can only really see the sides that they struggle to get things done during the day. And so I think it's fair enough that some people can't see the advantages, but I think there are advantages.
Yes.
And there are definitely advantages to accepting people for the way that they are, because when we accept people, we get a bigger view of what everything is like, and we get a bigger view. Our world becomes bigger, and the way that we can figure out the world and figure out problems
Becomes harder.
No, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to do those things when we have more people with different perspectives on
Who
board.
are more like you than some other people. A bit.
Well, it's good to have a lot of different people,
Yes.
because they all bring different perspectives.
Yes.
That's a really good way of putting it, I think. Ursula, have you got another question?
Are there disadvantages to being neurodiverse?
I think I've sort of just said that a little bit, haven't I? Is that there are lots of advantages and disadvantages. I think some of the disadvantages are that a lot of the time the world finds it difficult to understand you. We live in a world where
A lot is happening.
that's certainly true. We definitely live in a world where a lot is happening, but we live in a world where it's been built for people who don't have different neurological conditions like ADHD or like autism, and so it's hard for people who do have those conditions to go through it, because, or does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's hard for them to walk around in that world because it's not been built for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. What more can be done to support neurodiverse people? A lot.
You got a strong view on that, Isaac.
Yes.
Should we see what George thinks, and maybe we can see what you think as well, Isaac?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that a lot can be done. I think that the best thing that we can do is letting people talk and letting people be however they are. There's no just. It's hard to put it into words actually when you're really forced to, but letting people talk openly about their experience and the way that or their view of the world and their view of situations and problems, without thinking, oh, that's the wrong way of thinking about it, or you've not thought about that quickly enough. And I think, what was the question again?
It was, what more can be done to support neurodiverse people?
Hey, that's my question.
So I think talking about it and having events like Neurodiversity
like
Celebration Week, and opening up those opportunities for people to talk and hear people's experience is really important, isn't it? And should we go for number 11? Because I know you've been looking forward to ask that one.
Hold on, let's let Ava ask her question.
Do you think all schools do enough to support neurodiverse
Some,
people?
including this school.
Some.
I think some schools do. It's hard to know. I think this school probably does do a lot, because I think that is why we're here today. I don't know. I've not been to every school, so I don't know fully. But I know that a lot of people slip through the net and don't get diagnosed. Isaac, you're very lucky to have been diagnosed with ADHD so early. A lot of
I was
people...
only 5 when I got diagnosed with autism, and it was a month or 2 ago that I got diagnosed with ADHD.
So I know
around
people who are
Christmas.
older than me who have just been diagnosed, and I mean, I'm
heard-
into my 30s, let's say, and so it can take a long time, and if you don't know, then you might just think you overreact all the time.
Yeah.
Or you might think that you're a violent person, but you're not. You just have a condition.
Can I say something? Actually, they just diagnosed someone with ADHD who's 101.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my
Well,
god.
there you go. See,
Yeah.
but that person will have gone through life not knowing their whole time and thinking that they just were lazy, maybe, or they were just
Not something that's odd, like
yeah. But that's not nice, is it?
yeah, it's really, it can be really hard for people. I know, especially. I haven't really experienced it, but I know from seeing other people that it can be really hard for people who are never diagnosed with it, but still have it, because it can be, but have it but are not diagnosed, because it can be really hard for them, because they're like, oh no, and like because they've never been diagnosed, they're not sure if they've got it or not. So if they haven't got it naturally, if they know they haven't got it naturally, then they'll get very then they'll feel, but if they've been told they haven't had it when they have, then they could get very upset, feeling it's their personality, not ADHD.
Exactly.
Confusing, can't it?
Yeah.
It can get confusing. The last thing that I would want to say is that if you think you know someone who has a condition like ADHD or autism or any of the many other conditions that make up the neurodiverse world, then ask them about it. I know I'd like to be asked about it, and how I would want someone to treat me, and how I would want someone to help me.
We can ask you about it now.
You are asking me about me now. But that's all I'd want to say.
What would we like to say to George for coming to speak to us?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us.